We are going to talk about a very important topic, creating a kind and caring classroom. And I know many of us are concerned. Di ba? We are concerned kasi ibang klaseng mga batang ito ngayon. Ano? The bullying that happens among them, the lack of respect, the lack of empathy. Yan. Minsan hindi nila alam somebody is already being pushed to the brink of desperation, depression, and even suicide, right? That's what we see in among the young people today. And so we are going to discuss very specific strategies that you can use in order to create a kind and caring classroom. Um, okay, so let's listen to Albert Einstein, who said, try not to become a man or woman of success, but rather try to become a man or woman of value. Something that is really very urgent, very important. And yes, we are all concerned. Sabi natin kahapon sa session, we are not hired by the school simply to teach a subject, to cover a curriculum, to cover a syllabus. That's important, but that's not everything. As a good teacher, we are concerned that the young people entrusted to our care grow up to be not just smart, but especially good. Now, we know there is a crisis in character. We see it happening, especially for those of us who have been inside the classroom for years. No? I'm on my 33rd year as a teacher. I have not left the classroom, and I've seen the change. I am seeing the crisis in character among many young people. They are not as kind, they are not as empathetic, they are not as nice as when you and I were younger. Sabi ng research, while we may be producing a smart, self-assured generation of young people, today's kids are also the most self-centered and stressed out on record. Self-centered, pinag-usapan natin kahapon yan, the selfie generation. Yung bang kailangang ipaalam nila sa buong mundo ang kanilang kinakain. Pipicturan at ipapaalam. I mean, what do I care about that? Well, this is it. This is the kind of young people inside our classroom today. Most self-centered, but at the same time also stressed out. Kaya napansin ninyo, nung bata akong teacher, nung bago pa lang akong teacher, we never had to have seminars on how to deal with a student going through depression. Di ba? Parang wala namang concern na ganyan dati. There was no problem like that. Abay ngayon, parang kailangan every school has to come up with a seminar for teachers on how to cope with a student going through depression or even suicidal thoughts. We have that situation now, which we didn't see previously. And one of the reasons for that is they are so immersed in a culture of hate, violence, the video games that they play, the movies they watch, the teleseries, um, the video games where the more you kill, the more points you get. And then you go to social media. There's a lot of hatred there. Nabanggit natin kahapon, katatapos lang ng election, whatever political camp you belong to, there is just so much hurling of insults, attacks against each other's candidates, and attacks among the followers and the fans, and the young people are subjected to so much hatred in the news, on TV, in the internet, in social media. And then I think you will also agree with me, parang there's a glorification of the vulgar. Listen to the top songs in Spotify, the global charts. Listen to many songs. They talk about the vulgar, the pornography, the indecent, the immodest. Parang ito ang mga fads. And then you watch the dance moves. Ay nako, pag ikay nasa TikTok, um, 80%, 70% of the dance moves border on the sensual, sensuous, salacious, even indecent, immodest. So that's the kind of world the young people are subjected to. There is just so much glorification of the opposite of beautiful, the vulgar, the thrill of viral bashing. We keep on seeing that in social media, no? And people commenting, writing things in the comment section, something they will not tell the person face to face. I mean, think about it. If the young people are really face to face with that person they are attacking, are they going to say those nasty, rude, uncharitable, unkind remarks? No, they won't. Sabi ng research, it's because when you are in front of the screen, there is the so-called anonymity of the screen. So they say things that they will not say face to face. And then with hundreds of comments there, thousands of comments bashing a person, a political candidate, all the remarks that are hurtful, harmful. And of course, you have heard of cases where a student would think of suicide or be depressed or um, will not have the confidence to face other people anymore. These are all part of the technocentric lifestyle that the young people live today. Researchers also say that the young people today are so absorbed, self-absorption epidemic. You ride the MRT, you ride the LRT, and you will see there young people, old people, not talking, they're with their cell phones. Of course, during this pandemic, binawal, no? Pag-uusap sa loob ng tren. Pero even without this pandemic, before the pandemic happened, you already see that many young people uh, so immersed in their gadget, their cell phone, their tablet, their computer. That's the kind of world that the young people are living in. Reality check. Teenagers today are 40% lower in empathy levels than 30 years ago. And in the same period, narcissism has increased 58%. Narcissism, taking a picture of their face, posting 20 selfies. Uh, Parang titingnan mo yung Facebook ng ibang mga bata, ba't ang dami mong picture dyan? Ang pangit-pangit mo naman. Wala ka namang hitsura. the, or taking a picture of their OOTD, no? The outfit of the day, hashtag OOTD. Parang gusto mong sabihin, anong pakialam ko kung anong suot mo ngayon? Bakit kailangan mong everyday ipaalam sa buong mundo? That's part of narcissism, you know? Or posting things that are their opinions about anything. And sometimes we have that feeling. We want to tell the person, what do I care about your opinion? um, why do you have to let the world know your opinion about the latest movie, Batman, your opinion about Blackpink and BTS and your favorite K-drama? Kailangan mo talagang ipaalam ang iniisip mo sa buong mundo? Well, that's it. That's social media. That's what Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok are all about. They tell the person, express yourself. And that has brought narcissism to an all-time high. And then very sadly, we see these cases of depression and suicide among teenagers. wala naman yan. Walang ganyang problema. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they were more resilient. They were stronger. They could withstand the teasing and the... Pero ngayon, we have more and more cases like this. What is happening among the young people? We need to know. That's why we start, before we can even talk about kindness and creating a kind and caring classroom, tingnan muna natin, where are the young people coming from? Now, in the US, this is how they are responding to the crisis in character. The schools are saying, ay, maglagay tayo ng CCTV sa corridor. Hanapin natin yung mga cheaters, bullying. Yan. That's what they're doing. Now, parang katawa-tawa, no? CCTV, is that really going to solve the crisis in character? Now, some schools in the Philippines are also doing the same thing. Some of you are also resorting to maglagay tayo ng CCTV in every classroom, in the corridor, in the playground, in the gym. But that is not going to fix character of the young people. Here is what other schools in the US are doing, and some universities in the Philippines are already copying. Maglagay tayo ng metal detector at the entrance of the gate, at the gate of the school. That will not solve character crisis. Unfortunately, some parents are beginning to see, bakit ko i-enroll ang anak ko dyan sa eskwelahan na yan? Only for my son, my daughter to be bullied. Eh di wag na lang, dito na lang. Ako na lang magtuturo sa iyo, anak. Hindi pa tayo magbabayad ng tuition. So, some parents are resorting to homeschooling. It's very sad. It's very sad. When really the only way we can make them learn empathy, become kind and caring, and overcome bullying is, yesterday, we repeated it again and again through the example of the teachers. We have to make sure our school, our classroom is a kind and caring school, because the world out there is already so unkind, so chaotic, so harsh, and even harmful for some young people. Sabi ng Chinese proverb, a man without a smiling face must not open a shop. That's why sometimes we also need to tell teachers, please, wag masungit. Wag kang suplado. Wag kang parang laging galit. Don't shout, don't scream, don't yell. There are better ways of making the students do what you want them to do. That's what we're going to talk about, I think, on Thursday in the classroom management session, or on Friday. So then, let's work on stopping bullying, improving the classroom and school climate. And if we are to do that, we need to change the social climate of the school, and then have social norms regarding bullying. And this needs everybody to be on board. I'm going to talk about later on. Hindi lang ito trabaho ng teacher inside the classroom. Even the ladies selling in the cafeteria, the security guard, the school bus driver, because sometimes dun nangyayari yung bullying. So all those teachers, the non-academic staff, the people selling in the cafeteria, they too should work on creating a kind and caring atmosphere. It's got to be the work of everyone. Research says student achievement increases when students feel comfortable in their learning environment. So, with the increase in bullying in many schools, maybe that's also contributing to the mahoha, majoha. You know about the majoha? Yung sa PBB na tinanong sila, sino ang yung Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora? Ayan. No? They don't know. So mahoha ang sagot na. Na maybe the decrease in learning is partly brought about by the harmful climate that some students find themselves in some schools, in some classrooms. Student achievement will increase if they feel safe and comfortable in the environment. We have to make our classroom, our school, our campus a paradise on earth where the students are not afraid to go, where students are not afraid to enter, to be in. They look forward to being with their classmates because they are not afraid of being bullied, made fun of, um, the, be the butt of jokes. So then, let's work on making our classrooms a kind and caring classroom, and how beautiful every day that they come to our day, to our classroom, to our school will be if it is full of kindness. Kindness. A caring classroom is not only comfortable, it allows you, the teacher, to spend more time teaching and less time handling student conflicts. I tell you, in my 33 years inside the classroom, one of the hardest, toughest, most challenging things is to address discipline problems. Mag-i-interview ka ng mga estudyante, kailangan mong malaman kung sino nag-umpisa, you will have to find out who needs to be detained, suspended, or even expelled. It's so harsh. And then the parents come defending their students, blaming the other student. It's so horrible. It's so tiring. It's so tiring. At a certain point, you will just say, this is not what I studied education for. I want to make a difference in the lives of students, not solving discipline problems. And so, very sadly, some teachers reach a point where they have to resort to shouting, screaming, yelling, just to get the students to do what they want them to do. No, let's make our classroom a kind and caring place so that we can teach peacefully and concentrate on really making a difference in the lives of our students. Look at yesterday, I mentioned this. The empathy is one of the virtues that's worst affected by the digital lifestyle. Kids today can be spending the whole day in front of the computer, playing games, in front of the gadget, the tablet, the cell phone. So they don't develop empathy. And when you have crisis in empathy, here, these are the things that happen. Academic performance goes down. There is bullying. There's more cheating. The kids are less resilient. They are unable to collaborate with each other, and they are unable to innovate, and not they're unable to solve problems. You see how bad bullying can be, how bad absence of kindness can be. Okay, so you are here because you want to know strategies. You are here because you want to make your classroom, your school, a kind and caring school. Let's get into it. You see, Dr. Thomas Licona studied it in a very scientific way. What can be done so that our school, our classroom is a kind and caring place? And he came up with his 12-point program. You see, some will have to be done inside the classroom. Others will have to be done on a school-wide basis. I'm going to tackle many of these, but not all, one by one. Okay, here is Hal Urban. Yesterday, I talked about Hal Urban towards the end of our presentation. Here is his daily four. Every day, if you are to create a kind and caring classroom, you have to systematically do certain things. You see, these are four things you can do whatever subject you are handling. It doesn't matter what subject you're handling. If you use this daily four, then you change the atmosphere. For example, daily for number one, he does this on a daily basis every time he would a session with the students. Some teachers I know, what they would do is they will do number one on Monday, number two on Tuesday, number three on Thursday, Wednesday, etc. But in the case of Hal Urban, because he wanted to create a kind and caring classroom, four things he would do inside the classroom every day. Before starting the class, he would tell the students, okay, before we begin, just 1 minute. Anyone wants to share a good news like that? No. In the beginning, the students had a hard time sharing good news. Eventually, they discover that there are many good news that they can share, and there comes a point when students were sharing intimate good news. Somebody standing up, sir, I'd like to share. My father left us, but he came back home, and then everybody feels so um well, they empathize with the student, no, with the person, they share the joy. Somebody says, sir, I received my card yesterday, I passed all the subjects, that's good news for me. Somebody would say, I was able to finish the assignment early enough, I didn't have to stay up late, that's the good news for me. So um, you can just say, let's just spend a minute and a half. Anyone wants to share a good news like before we begin the class? No? Number two, this is his other daily for somewhere in the middle of the period to break perhaps the monotony of the lecture. He will, okay, let's stand up. Let's spend 1 minute expressing gratitude. Tell someone what you are grateful for, and then the change of partner, you share also that what you are grateful for. So they will spend just 1 minute looking for someone to express, I'm grateful for the help you gave me in the assignment, I'm grateful for the snacks you shared with me during recess, I'm grateful for you being present today so we can report, we can do our group report well. Something or someone that you are grateful for. Daily for number three, every day he would find a way of affirming someone, complimenting someone, saying something good about someone or about one row. Like you say, this row is really amazing. You have been reciting very actively. Good job, keep it up. That's affirming some people in the class. Joanna, I see you really intent on copying notes. Very good. I know you're doing your best. Keep it up. That's affirming someone. And you see, it doesn't take time. It doesn't take so much time. But the idea of being always on the lookout for something good, something positive, something to affirm. And do you realize when the teacher does all these things, how the atmosphere changes? How students feel so good to be there that they even look forward to being in your class. And the number four, he tells the class, okay, next meeting, um, prepare a joke that you can share with us. It has to be clean, wholesome, and better yet, if it's a short one, like a knock-knock joke, and then before you can do that, for example, before ending the okay, before we end the class, let's see, we still have 2 minutes. Anyone has a joke to share? Now, somebody stands up, gives a joke, and there's laughter. Sometimes it's corny. The reaction is a sort of pilit na tawa, but still, you imagine the atmosphere, how things change when you have laughter, when they share that fun being with their classmates. The daily four. Do this and you change the atmosphere. It's not anymore of a student being afraid that he will be laughed at, that he will be made fun of, that he will be teased. The daily four. Now, here's another strategy of Hal Urban that he would do on day one. of the school year. Okay, you can do this on day one. You can even do this even in an online setup. Day one, you're going to ask the students, okay, class, I am so and so. I will be your teacher in this subject. Now, let's talk about what kind of classroom do you want to be in? What kind of classroom do you want to be in, or what kind of classroom you do not like? Let's start first with a classroom you do not like. Make the students recite, contribute, and as they give you the descriptions of the kind of classroom they don't like, write it on one side of the bulletin board, one side of the blackboard. Somebody will say, sir, I don't like rude classmates. Okay, let's write that down. Sir, I don't like inconsiderate classmates. Let's put it down there. I don't like it, sir, when students are disrespectful. Okay, let's write it down. Sir, I don't like offensive language, uh, cursing, curse words, harsh words. Um, okay, let's write it down. All the things you don't like in a classroom, write all of them down on one side of the board. Okay, now let's go to the second part. Describe to me the kind of classroom you want or you like to be in. So they are going to describe courteous, considerate, respectful, polite, caring, kind, noticing, no put downs. Okay, let's write all of them down here. After making the lists, things they don't like and the things they like, you tell the students, okay, class, this came from you. This is not from me. You said you don't like this. You said you like this. And they will end up in posters that you can put on the one side of the classroom, a poster with the list of they don't like in a classroom. And the other side, the kind of classroom they want to see. So that for the rest of the 200 days that you have them inside the classroom, every time somebody acts rudely, saying bad words. No need to say anything. It's enough to point to the poster and say, didn't we say we will not want that? We don't want that here. Better yet, what Hal Urban will do is, okay, class, you came up with these lists. Can we now commit ourselves? Commit ourselves to prohibit these bad things you said you don't like. And then we commit ourselves to foster these things you said you want to see inside the classroom. What is so beautiful about this strategy, and I've used it, it works, is no need to get angry when somebody is rude. No need to shout, to scream, to yell when somebody is inconsiderate. It's enough to point to the poster, and that says everything. Without even saying a word, they know, didn't we commit ourselves that you don't like that thing happening? So please stop being rude, stop being considerate. It works. You know, anything that teachers do that lessens or removes the need to shout, to scream, to yell, to get angry, to get upset is a great help to make you a great teacher. And this thing contributes to creating a kind and caring classroom. That's a fantastic strategy, I thought, that you should do if you're not doing it yet, or that you should use if you don't have it in your school, in your classroom, that poster kind of thing where it's enough to point to the poster and that says everything. Okay, comprehensive character education. Big idea number one, a high quality comprehensive approach to character education is the most effective way to develop caring classrooms and schools and thereby reduce bullying. High quality comprehensive approach. Okay? Hindi nadadaan yan sa poster lang na nakalagay bully-free zone. Okay, that will help, but that is not everything. You have to make it high quality and comprehensive. It's not enough to just put a poster na binili mo sa National Bookstore, glossy, colorful, with the message of be kind. Okay, nice. But that will not assure you that the students will be nice, will be kind. You have to talk about it. You have to make it high quality, comprehensive, and practical, that the students really are going to practice kindness. Okay, and for us to do that, Dr. Licona gives us this 12 point strategy. The 12-point comprehensive approach to character education, it's intentional. Hindi lang tsamba, uy, tsamba na mabait ang mga estudyante ko this year. No, kahit anong klaseng estudyante na meron ka, year after year nag-iiba ang mga estudyante mo. Minsan ang character nitong class ko matamlay, tahimik. Pero minsan ay ang character nitong class na ay inassign sa akin this year, ang ingay, ang gulo, ang daming papansin, ang daming pabibo. Uh, let's face it, you can have students like that. If you don't have them this year, you may have them next year or the following year. So it's important that you put in place intentionally, deliberately, a program, strategies, um, how-tos, so that you really are able to create a kind and caring classroom. Intentional, deliberately seeking to positively impact character. Deve- uh, to do every phase of school and classroom life. So hindi pwedeng sa classroom mo lang. In fact, you have to suggest to the school. We also have to put in place in the cafeteria, where sometimes bullying happens. In the playground, where sometimes bullying happens. Sa likod ng cafeteria, sa likod ng swimming pool, sa likod ng football field, nandun nagsusuntukan ang mga bata. We have to put in place, in all aspects, in every phase of school and classroom life, deliberate and intentional character development, push, campaign, program, whatever it is. I'm going to share many of those that you can implement in your school. So, but first, let's accept na napakahalaga nito. School climate matters, especially now. I mean, I'm talking to you as an ordinary teacher. Maraming eskwelahan nahihirapan because of this pandemic, and the last thing your administrator wants is losing students. We need students. We need enrollment. Um, kahit anong pilit natin na makakuha ng salary increase, pero kung bagsak ang enrollment, the school is not able to give it because we need students. So ito ang suggestion ko sa inyo mga teachers, fellow teachers. We have to be in a marketing mode. Yan. Para bang let's do our job very well, because we cannot afford students leaving our school. We need them. We need them to stay. We don't want them to transfer anywhere else because we need the students. Pero kung hindi nila nararamdaman na the classroom is kind and caring, that's many times one of the top reasons why they choose to look for another school. We want them inside our classroom. Let us be in that marketing mode. Kailangan napakagaling kong teacher at paghusayan ko, because I want my students to love the school, to stay put and not to transfer, because I need them here. We need them to survive. So let us work on removing bullying, improving school climate, and creating a kind and caring classroom. It's in our hands. Teachers, I have to tell you, you are the most crucial element for creating a kind and caring classroom. In fact, many students equate the kind of classroom they are in with the kind of teacher they have. If the teacher is a terror teacher, yan, di ba? Meron tayong ganyan minsan no? Yung nakakatakot, yung bang nanginginig ang mga estudyante. They are so afraid to be there because of the teacher, who doesn't see anything good except the wrong things that the students do. On the other hand, how wonderful it is to be in a classroom where the teacher is kind, caring, understanding, very motherly, very fatherly. Sasabihin ng mga estudyante, never mind kahit hindi first class ang aming facilities. Napakabait ng aming teacher. I want to be in that classroom. We are the ones who create the atmosphere. That's a very important principle that I will share in the classroom management. Teachers, you create the climate inside the classroom. Kaya minsan, kahit bumabagyo sa labas, pero ang teacher, very kind and caring, parang it's sunny and bright. The opposite is also true. Ang ganda ng panahon sa labas, umaaraw, sunny, bright, pero ang teacher, terror, parang malapit nang gumuho ang mundo. It's so dark, it's so scary. We teachers, we are the ones who create the weather inside the classroom. That's why kindness matters. Teachers matter. Kindness makes a fellow feel good, whether it's being done to him or by him. I mean, think about it. You are inside the classroom, and then the teacher tells one student, John, I'm so happy to have you back here. I'm glad you were able to get over with your dengue. So how are you now? You know, that kind of action of a teacher being so happy to see a student who was sick, absent for many days, coming back to the classroom and then being welcomed warmly by the teacher. That kindness is not just affecting John, it's affecting everyone in the class, making everybody feel, ay, napakabait talaga nitong teacher namin. She really cares for us. She really authentically, genuinely, sincerely loves us, cares for each one of us. That's why I have to remind you, teachers, pag may estudyante kang nag-absent ng matagal dahil nagkasakit, when the student comes back, don't pretend like nothing happened. I mean, you have to acknowledge that, John, so great to see you. Yan. To make them feel welcome, to make them know that we looked for them. We cared enough to notice that they were not there. In fact, we cared enough to know why they were absent, that we prayed for them when they got COVID, that we were concerned that they would recover. So the teacher, balik na naman sa teacher, what the teacher does is very, very important in being able to create a kind and caring classroom. Kindness, love, caring, relationship, these are all principles we heard in the School of Education, but they don't mean anything until you start being inside the classroom and genuinely being concerned about every single one of your students. Especially now when we are coping with more and more school bullying, cyberbullying. Di ba 20 years ago, wala namang case of cyberbullying kasi nga wala pang internet. Computer was only for the very rich. I mean, naalala niyo yung time na yon na sobrang mahal ng computer, ng laptop, para bang it's only for the really rich in society. Who would have thought 20 years later, having a computer, having a cell phone is as normal as having good pair of pants? I mean, like it has become um, common um, thing that practically every human being would have a cell phone, a computer to use, a laptop. So now we are also coping with cyberbullying. Sabi nitong nanay na to, children remind me of chickens seeking out the weak and wounded and pecking them to death. When they discovered that my 9-year-old son, who is autistic, is bothered by loud noises, they scream and whistle in his ear until he cries. When a mother has to say this, do you imagine the pain, the hurt for the sake of the son, for the sake of the daughter? And then today in this seminar, we say no parent, no parent should ever have to worry about her or his son or daughter being bullied, being hurt, being harmed, being unhappy in the first place. I mean, no parent should ever have to be afraid that her son, her daughter, his son, his daughter is a victim of bullying. When students are victims of peer cruelty, it interferes with learning, it disrupts their social and moral development, it makes school a miserable experience. It causes some to seek revenge. It causes others to become depressed and even suicidal. Well, let me highlight it makes school a miserable experience. That's why sometimes some schools lose students because they are not welcome there. They feel bullied. They feel like they're victims. They look for another school. Let us not lose anyone from our school because of this. Let us make our classroom a kind and caring one. Sabi nitong 8th grade student in her suicide note, all my life I have been teased. I love you very much but I just couldn't stand it anymore. Sulat ng babae, ng bata sa kanyang mga magulang. I mean, no one has the right to take away someone's happiness. No one should ever have to be, to feel bullied, hurt. And I'm not talking about US. Sa US, ang dami nating naririnig na ganun. But I'm also talking of Philippine setting. We have cases of students committing suicide because of bullying. Bullying blamed for Batangas teens suicide. You see, this is happening here in our country. Cyberbullying pushes 12-year-old Phil-Am to commit suicide. Filipino boy kills himself over online learning. I mean, this is the drama of the young people today in our country. No one should ever have to feel like this, so desperate that they resort to ending their life. Sabi ng US study, two-thirds of the student shooters, yung mga mass shooting, yung Virginia massacre, the Columbine massacre, students coming to school with guns and killing people, two-thirds of those cases, they were because it was because they were bullied as students by their fellow students. Peer exclusion in kindergarten is associated with lower academic achievement in later grades. You see the scar it leaves behind. You see, if it happens, even especially among the younger ones, they get affected for the next many more years. It's not just that year that they are affected. Even observing someone else being bullied can lower a student's academic performance. This is the opposite of what I said earlier. Sabi ko, how great it feels when you not even experience kindness, but even just when you experience kindness of the teacher towards another student. Well, the opposite is also true. When they witness a teacher being terror to one student, reprimanding, pinapahiya, sinisigawan, that is also affecting the other students. It's not just that person na pinapagalitan ang apektado, everyone else gets affected. Okay, so let's talk about, sige nga, Mr. Rentoy, paano namin gagawin to? How can we create a kind and caring classroom, a kind and caring school? 3 secrets of success: staff involvement, student involvement, parent involvement. Iisa-isahin natin yan, and I'm going to give you strategies on how you can involve the staff, how you can involve the students, and how you can involve the parents in fighting against bullying, in creating a kind and caring classroom. Let's go to the, okay, when I was young, I used to admire intelligent people. As I grow older, I admire kind people. Let's go to staff involvement. Paano natin ma-involve ang accounting office, ang cafeteria, ang security guard, ang janitors, ang maintenance men, ang gardener? How can we involve all of them in this campaign to create a school of character, to create a kind and caring classroom? Well, here's a suggestion of Dr. Thomas Licona in his book. By the way, many of you joined us already in the Facebook group, Man Rentoy Downloadables. If you are not there yet, please look for it in Facebook and join us, because that is where I also posted. You can download this book that I'm using as reference for this, the Smart and Good High Schools by Dr. Thomas Licona. It's a 278-page book, and it's uploaded in that Facebook page. And you can find it on pages 220 to 221. Create a touchstone. How do you create a touchstone? A touchstone is like way or battle cry or motto that everyone will know, because it's written all over the place. It's in a tarpaulin, it's at the entrance, it's on the desk of the teachers. Written by staff and students together, the touchstone expresses the school's core moral and performance values. This is the secret of one of the premier schools in the Philippines, along Katipunan. I'm not from that school, but I am a big fan of how they do their touchstone. What is their touchstone? Kahit na prep student, alam yon. Kahit yung security guard, alam yon. What does the school want to do to the students? A man for others. That's what the school tries to do to the students, to make them men for others. That's their touchstone. That's their motto. That's their battle cry. A man for others. Serving, helping. So, if you can come up with this touchstone, better yet, if it is something that has been crafted by a representative from the students, the student council chairman, together with the teachers, the guidance officer, and then they try to craft this. Here's an example of touchstone in a school in the United States, the Northridge, and this is what they make the students pledge, recite, memorize, and it's written in strategic locations all over the campus. Sabi nila, at Northridge School, we pursue excellence in scholarship and character. We celebrate and honor each other by being respectful, honest, kind, and fair. We give our best inside and outside the classroom. This is who we are, even when no one is watching. You see, this is their way, their motto, their pledge. Practically all schools have this. They have what you call vision, mission, and then core values. What does the school stand for? What is the school trying to do to the students? If you have that, display it everywhere. The ladies in the cafeteria read it, see it. The security guard sees it in the tarpaulin, in the poster, in the billboard in front of the school. The accounting personnel, before entering the office, they can see it along the corridor. It's printed on a card and they have it on top of their table. They know this is what we value most in this school. You see, with that, you get everybody involved. You involve even the staff, the non-academic staff, the non-teaching staff. Here's another example. Okay, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible, from the Dalai Lama. The Roosevelt way. This is the way of another school called Roosevelt. There's a way that students here are expected to act and a way that they are expected not to act. So uh, it's written simply as that. And then the guidance officers, the teachers, the school officers, administrators, they mention this in their talks, in their meetings, that there is just a way that we here in this school behave and act. There is such a thing as proper way of acting because we are Roosevelt, and there are ways that are not appropriate or proper. Why? Simply because we are Roosevelt School, and it's our core values. It's not according to our mission or vision. So here is how touchstone, battle cry, motto can work. Number one, visibility. It has to be visible. Every memo issued by the school, nakasulat sa ilalim, the touchstone. Every communication with the parents, communication with the teachers, communication with the non-academic staff, nandun, visible. It can be seen, it's printed, it's on the walls. Number two, academics. Teachers find a way of smoothly integrating that the core values, what we stand for as a school, into academics. For example, the English teachers, the literature teachers will ask, if this character were a student here in our school, do you think he will be living according to our way? Do you think he will be fulfilling our touchstone? Or math teacher talking about a mathematician, this, if Descartes were living today and in our school, he will be the epitome of our touchstone, our way. So looking for those characters, important people, personalities, where to whom we can insert the lesson on core values, what we stand for as a school. And then here's another way, discipline. Staff refer to the touchstone when disciplining. John, you received your letter for detention. You do understand why you need to have that consequence, right? Because what you did is totally uh, counter, contrary to our way, what we stand for, our core values. You see, even disciplining is a way of emphasizing our touchstone, our core values. And then, fourth, if you want the touchstone implementation to be successful, make sure every new student that comes, every new teacher that comes, every new staff that comes gets an orientation about this is what we stand for, this is our core values, these are our core values, and this is just how we do things here. Orientation is a very, very important thing. Okay, and then throughout the year, the teachers are given professional development that are centered on those core values. The regular staff sharing of best practices, staff training in cooperative learning, class meetings, and other key strategies. But these core values, the way, the um, touchstone, fully embedded in the program that we put in place. Okay, so I've been talking for an hour. Just a little bit of a break. Our school should look, see, practically, the students should be able to breathe kindness, see kindness, smell kindness. It They have to be so immersed in it that wherever they look, whatever part of the campus they go to, they are reminded, here in this school, we value kindness. You are in a kindness zone. Kindness is emphasized here in our campus. I mean, it's so visible, it's so clear that if a student starts acting unkindly towards another person, he starts becoming like out of place, because of the all the messages of kindness around him, and then being unkind, teasing others. That becomes like contrary to the very essence of the school. Now let's go to student involvement. If we are to create a kind and caring classroom, staff should be involved. And I emphasized not just the teachers, but even the non-teaching staff, the ladies in the cafeteria. Now let's go to student involvement. How to get students involved? Well, if you go to the book of Thomas Licona, Character Matters, this can be found on page 247. Asian. Now, just a background on that video. This student is a new student who transferred to another school because he was being bullied in another school. And this is how he is welcomed inside the classroom. The students have a choice of a hug, a handshake, a fist bump, or a well, no, the other one. So the imagine what this boy is going to tell his parents when he gets home. Imagine the excitement he is going to have in coming to the classroom every day because he was welcomed this way. This is a kind and caring classroom, and it's all because the students were involved. It's because the students are the ones who create the kind and caring atmosphere. Okay, so in order to involve the students, because this is number 2, student involvement. In order to involve the students, sabi ni Dr. Licona, the class advisor or the teacher is in a position to empower them by holding class meetings. When you do class meetings, you are empowering the students and making them solve problems, discuss possible solutions, come up with ideas, uh, find out why is the atmosphere like this. Kasi sila yon, they are the ones, and therefore they have to be involved in the analysis, decision making, etc. So here are, for example, the different kinds of class meetings that teachers, class advisors can do with the students. And you look at this, ay oo nga, ang daming reason para mag-meeting. Hindi lang to distribute memo. Di ba ganyan minsan, ano, ang impression ng teachers, pag sinabing class meeting, it's because the teacher will need to make announcements, distribute handouts, distribute letters to the parents, collect reply slips. No, class meetings means you give the students opportunities to express themselves, to voice out their concern, their suggestions, their recommendations. For example, a good class meeting is good news meeting, where you will tell us, okay, class, tomorrow we will have a good news meeting. Prepare for any good news you want to share, okay? And our class meeting will be the first 10 minutes of the period, advisory period, 20 minutes. Circle whip, where you, well, literally form a circle, and then everyone should be given the opportunity to complete a sentence. I'm going to share with you. For example, every single, no objections, no shooting down of ideas, no debates. Basta everyone should be given a chance to complete the sentence. It can be, today we will complete the sentence, something I like about this class, okay? Or you can tell the class, okay, today you have choice either to complete the sentence, something I like about this class, something I think would make our class better, or a decision I think we should make, etc. The important thing is every single student will take turns, will have their turn to say something by completing the sentence. And you'll be surprised, you will realize, aba, ang dami palang concerned about a subject matter, about a teacher, about the dismissal, about the recess, about the, when students are given a voice, given opportunity to express themselves, you discover a lot of things. Sorry, back to number 3. Number 3, appreciation time. Express something that express anything that shows appreciation for another member of the class, a teacher, someone in the school. Compliment time. In fact, this is one of the games that I will teach in the classroom management. No? Okay, class, last 2 minutes before I dismiss you, let's play the compliments game. Anyone can stand up to compliment another student. I'd like to compliment the students in charge of cleaning the classroom. It's so clean. Good job, guys. I want to compliment Joanna, who lent me the ball pen. I lost mine and I almost failed to take the test thanks to Joanna. An applause for Joanna. I want to compliment Joey, who was very active in participating in the recitation today. Good job, Joey. So, 2 minutes of just expressing compliments. Or number 5, and this is usually done at the start of the school year. Okay, class, let's discuss what can be our goals in academics, in sports, in extracurriculars. Okay, goal that everyone will pass the school year, that we will have at least uh, 10 students making it to first honor. That's our goal. Let's work together to achieve it. That we will be champions in the basketball this year. That we will be participating in all the competitions. Sabayang Bigkasan, intrams, classroom decoration contest. Lahat kailangan masalihan ng class natin because we belong to this class. Goal setting meeting. Number 6, rule setting meeting. Sir, ang ingay lagi ng class. I think we need to sit down and meet on rules we have to put in place to address the problem of noise inside the classroom, especially during recess or during lunch. And then let's meet again next week to discuss, okay ba, rule evaluating meeting. Okay ba ang rules na nagawa natin? Is it helping? Is it improving the class? Stage setting, we set the stage for success. We set the stage for students being able to um, make it to first honors. Feedback and evaluation, reflections on learning. Okay, class, for our meeting today, reflect. What are the three most important things you learned in any subject this week? Everyone will be given a chance. No debates, no objections, no countering whatever anybody says. We just give everyone chance to express himself. Reflections on learning, student presentation, the class tomorrow. I want you all to see the best works submitted by your classmates in chemistry. In in this subject, I'm going to read the best essays submitted by your classmates. Student presentation, problem solving meeting. Bakit ang daming bumabagsak sa subject ni Mrs. Batong Bakal? Let's meet about it and let's see what can be the solution. Academic issues, classroom improvement meeting, follow-up meeting on a previous meeting that we had. Number 16, planning meeting. Let's plan out the excursion, the field trip, the performance for this contest. Concept meeting. Okay, so sasali tayo sa Sabayang Bigkasan. Let's meet about it and then brainstorm on ideas on what can we do so that we really win this one. Sticky situations is there is an issue that needs to be addressed. A classmate who is lagging absent, lagging late. That's a sticky situation. The guy is going to feel uneasy, but if he is really with the team, with the class, he is okay with it because it's meant to solve the problem. Or sticky situation like may dalawang estudyante sa loob ng classroom na kumukulo ang dugo sa bawat isa. I mean, talagang galit na galit sila sa... That's a sticky situation. And yes, maybe it needs to be discussed. What can we do so that we fix this up and we help them patch things up? And then we have a suggestion box in the classroom and anyone can put in their anonymous suggestions. Let's open it once a week and have a meeting to discuss whatever suggestions have been brought up. Meeting on, okay, let's schedule the different meetings we're going to have. You see, ang daming pwedeng pag-usapan, but the important thing here, bottom line is, when you do class meetings, you are giving students a voice. And you are making them own the problem, whatever problem there is inside the classroom, especially if it has something to do with kindness, with bullying. When you empower the students, they will step up and they will find maybe even better solutions than we adults can come up with. But that's the important thing. Involve the students because the problem of kindness, of bullying, is their problem. Sila ang problema. Sila dapat ang mag-ayos nun. That's how to involve the students. Okay, especially so in addressing cyberbullying, for example. The student council. I am a firm believer of trainings the students in leadership. Challenge them. The student council. What can students, parents, and the school working together do to prevent cyberbullying? Have a school-wide discussion with representatives from the different classes. Ask students to take responsibility for a possible school-wide campaign. You can consult a website like stopcyberbullying.org. So you see, these are all part of involving the students. in creating a kind and caring school, a kind and caring classroom. Get students to take responsibility. For example, counselors create anti-bullying intervention teams at each grade level. Ito yung mga students who form part of a team. And then, pag naka-receive kayo ng report on bullying, this team, made up of students, probably guided by the guidance counselor, will find solutions, will even decide probably on possible sanction if that's what is needed, or that they themselves will come up with campaigns to counter the bullying or the report that has been received, or simply providing emotional support to victims of bullying. So um, if a student reports about feeling um, like a victim of bullying, then this intervention team, in the first place, will find a way of talking to that person and providing moral support and getting him to voice out what happened. And if there is a need to investigate, then they do so. Here's another strategy to involve the students: seniors welcoming freshmen to the high school. Well, you can also use senior high school being in charge of welcoming students on day one of the school year. They act as ushers, helping students find their classrooms, briefing the students, the freshmen, about what it's like to be in high school, things to keep in mind in order to succeed in high school. So this can be a whole day where the seniors, the most senior students in the school, spend a day or a half day with the freshmen, the first year students coming into high school. Um, in a friendly basketball game. They take lunch together. There is a program. Seniors present numbers and the freshmen present numbers. By the end of the day, the first year students will feel like they have older kuyas to run to for help, to get support when they need support, to consult if they need to consult about this teacher. Paano ba mag-grade itong teacher na to? What does she look for in a good project, in a good group work? That's fantastic, when you create that kind of support. The seniors being real older kuyas to the younger ones, you create a family atmosphere. You create a different kind of friendship and camaraderie that happens between the older ones and the younger ones. It works. It works if you empower the students, if you make the students own this concern of creating a kind and caring school. Okay, here's another strategy: freshman transition program. Students of first year are given a mentor who is one of the older students. And the school trains the mentors, the older students, on how to mentor younger ones, how to help them cope with the... Kasi one of the things that the first year student should realize is you are not a kid anymore. You are not in grade school anymore. You have to start acting more mature because you're now high school. And so that's the role of the mentor, the senior student, an older student being paired with a younger one. They can meet every week. They can take lunch or recess um, every so often. But the idea is every student in first year has someone in the older batch that they can run to ask for help, to ask for support. Or if it is not one-on-one, it can be one section of the older students being assigned to be buddy class of a fresh one section in first year. And something similar happens, that they are going to be there to provide support, to provide help, to provide friendship. You see how things become very different. The first year students become excited to come to school. They're not afraid of being bullied because they have an older kuya to run to. You create a kind and caring high school when you do that. Similar setup can be implemented even in grade school. Grade 6 students, grade 6 classes being paired with a lower grade class section level to be their buddy class, mentor, etc. Okay, I am going to jump to the third. You remember, sabi ko kanina, there should be um, staff involvement, and then there should be student involvement. Now we go to the third secret of success, parent involvement. The parents will have to be involved. They have to know that you as a school value, you value kindness. You want the students to feel at home, to feel that they are cared for and they are welcome. They are not afraid to come to school. And we need to involve the parents also because sabi ko kanina, marketing mode tayo. Dapat ang disposition natin is we don't want the students to leave our school. We want them to love our school such that we want them to stay until they graduate. Now, who chooses normally to really transfer the student? The parents. But if the parents know that, no, the school is serious about creating a kind and caring campus, so you study there. That's why we need to win over the parents to our side. We need to win their confidence. Here it is. How do we get the parents involved? Number one, communicate with them. Parents should realize that in fact, character, values, virtues, sila dapat nagtuturo niyan eh. Parents dapat ang nagtuturo ng kindness, na dapat upright, na hindi ka cheating. Na, parents dapat, di ba? Sabi nga nila, bago pa pumasok ang bata sa eskwelahan, bago pa siya pumunta sa classroom, abay dapat sa bahay, natutunan niya na ang kindness, caring, greeting, good morning, good afternoon, thank you sir, using thank you, please, sorry, excuse me. Di ba dapat sa bahay yun? Kaya nga sabi ko kahapon, GMRC, values education, hindi lang yan subject eh. In fact, the parents are supposed to be the ones teaching all those to the students. And school, don't fail to communicate that with the parents. Don't fail to communicate to the parents na you expect them to help you in the school, to help you teachers, not by not by doing the assignment for their child, but supervising, making sure that nag-aaral talaga sa bahay yung bata, making sure that the whole Saturday and Sunday is not spent on video games, Netflix, sleeping, being lazy. Abay, wala naman sila sa eskwelahan. Parents, kayo ang dapat gumagawa niyan. Did you check on your child at 2 a.m.? Baka naman kaya tulog ng antok na antok yan sa klase sa eskwelahan. Eh, hindi nyo kasi ma'am, Mrs. Hindi nyo binantayan sa bahay na K-drama, anong tawag doon? Netflix marathon. Ayan, no? Tinatapos yung buong season 2 ng anong tawag dyan? Money Heist. Ayan. No, The parents are supposed to be doing also their part. Hindi pwede yung ang feeling ng parents is, aba, nagbabayad kami ng tuition. Kayo nang bahala sa kanyang disiplina. Kayo nang bahala sa kanyang honesty, hard work, industriousness, purity. Hindi, teka muna. Education is a collaboration between the parents and the school, between the home and the school. Hindi porke nagbayad kayo ng tuition, Mrs. Batumbakal, kami na lahat ang gagawa. Nasa inyo pa ring bahay ang anak ninyo from the time he goes home to weekends to yan. So the school's job is just to actually reinforce kung ano yung tinuno na character sa bahay. And there should be no conflict, in fact, between what we teach them in school and what the parents teach them at home. And that's why communicating to parents means schools, you should be organizing parenting talks, parent orientation. You should be calling them to school, not just when the son is about to be suspended. No, no. You should be calling the parents to come to school and listen to an expert talking about the need to develop strong character among your children, how to develop grit, resilience, and empathy among the children. So things like that, no? The school should provide also a certain form of help to the parents so that they are able to do their job well of forming character, molding minds of their children. Because our job here is just to help, to collaborate, not to take over what they are supposed to be doing. Expect parents to participate. I'm lucky to be teaching in PAREF schools, Parents for Education Foundation, where they emphasize homeschool collaboration. That parents are made to sign a contract that they will make themselves available for parenting talks, for meetings with the teachers, not only when the student is in trouble, but especially to discuss formation. And that's a hallmark of a great school. A great school reaches out to the parents. Let's not look at the parents as enemies or people in the other side of the camp. No, this is supposed to be a collaborative work. Home, school, collaborating for the sake of the child, for the sake of the student. And parents should expect that. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng tanggapin yung excuse na, aba, nagbabayad kami ng tuition. Kayo nang bahala. Kaya nga kami naglagay ng anak namin sa inyo kasi kayo dapat ang... No, of course not. We are never able to take over what the job of the parents, what the parents are supposed to be doing, which is being the primary educators of the children. What else can you do? Communicating pa rin, part of communicating with the parents, let the parents know what the school is doing in character education and how they can help. Meron kayong virtues of the month? Aba, dapat alam ng parents yon. So that if this June, our virtue of the month is hard work, the parents should know at home, oh, nagawa mo na yung assignment mo. Hard work pa naman ang virtue of the month nyo ngayon. Your teachers will expect you to be working hard. So, and then good schools like Southridge, my alma mater, they even send a newsletter to the parents. And then the newsletter sometimes will have list of suggestions you can do at home to foster the virtue of the month. If it is kindness, for example, that is a virtue of the month, how can your child live kindness at home? Helping in the house chores, helping the siblings in their assignments, cleaning their own bed, fixing their own bed in the morning as a form of kindness to the helpers, to the kasambahay. No? So the school gives concrete suggestions by which parents can help push the virtue of the month at home when the son, when the daughter is in the house. So let parents know what the school is doing and how they can help. Now, cyberbullying in a very special way, in fact, should be a concern of the parents, not of the school. Because normally it happens at home. The cyberbullying, the pornography, yan. We should be giving talks, for example, to parents on how to help your child um, not become a digital addict. I mean, not addicted to gadgets, not addicted to technology, not addicted to websites, and to still have self-control, raising children of character in the digital generation. So things like that, schools should be organizing. Look for a good speaker that you can invite to give a talk to the parents on what to be aware of. And then maybe to even give them suggestions on possible filters, computer filters that they can use so that pornography will not enter the house and harm your child, no? Or how to design or how to come up with house rules regarding the use of gadget, things like that, no? um, it may not be a talk, it can just be a newsletter, an article, reading material, especially because now we are all online. It doesn't cost anything really to email them a PDF file of a reading material related to cyberbullying or anything related to computer use, gadget use, technocentric lifestyle of the young people. Another way that you can involve the parents, so kanina, di ba, staff involvement, student involvement, we are on the third, parent involvement, is every now and then you can give assignments to the students, especially if it is related to character building, that will make them interview the parents or make the parents give inputs into the project, the group work, the recitation. For example, okay, class, social studies on subject, we are talking about heroes, national heroes. As an assignment, you will interview your parents. Ask them, who are your 5 heroes and why? Make your parents come up with a list, you come up with your list, and then compare and discuss with your parent, with your mom, with your dad. Who are your who are 5 of your heroes and why? Or any other question that will need them to interview the parents or to work with the parents or to talk to the parents, communicate with parents about this. Because we, the teachers, we are the ones who make a difference. Sabi nitong grade 6 boy, I was a bully before I came to this school. I used to make little kids cry. When I met Mrs. Brown, the teacher, the class advisor, I changed. I'm not a bully anymore because Mrs. Brown taught me about character, about kindness, about being caring, about having empathy. We make a difference. I mean, believe it, the teacher has such a great impact on the students that many times we leave a mark, not just for this year when they are inside their classroom. Many times that mark is there to their adulthood, to their professional life. As you and I experience, some of us decided to become a teacher because of one great caring teacher we had when we were younger, when we were in grade school, when we were in grade 4. I don't know if you watched that interview of Oprah Winfrey. She always talked about her favorite teacher in grade 4. And then one day, the staff surprised her by bringing that teacher to the studio. Grade 4. That means uh, a teacher she had 30 years earlier. And yet, she continued to acknowledge that um, it was because of that grade 4 teacher that she gained the confidence, that she became who she is now. So, we make a difference. Believe it or not, our impact is so great. Sometimes that mark is there all the way to the end of the life of the student, not just in this year that they are inside our classroom. Okay, so let us work on creating a kind and caring classroom. But remember, yesterday, I don't know, 5, 6 times I repeated modeling. The most powerful way we can teach kindness to our students is by living it, showing it in our example in flesh and blood. That's why these are questions that are very good to ask ourselves. Are we kind and caring? How do we know if we are a kind and caring teacher? Well, number one, do I warmly greet each student that they are not just class numbers? Number two, do I seek other opportunities to connect with each student outside of class period, outside of class hours, outside of the classroom? Now, professionalism, kindness, caring, we also show it in the way we come to class prepared. Am I well prepared for class? On time? I mean, kung makita ng mga estudyante na parang baliwala sa atin na late tayo ng 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, parang ang iisipin ng mga bata, hindi naman tayo pinahahalagahan nitong teacher na to. Do I model patience and courtesy even under stress? Especially when we're back to face teachers. Don't wait for the students that you meet in the corridor. Don't wait for them to greet you first. Good morning, good afternoon. Ikaw ang adult. We are the adults. So we are the ones who started. Kasi minsan ganun ang mindset, ano? Naku, ito na naman batang to. Mag-greet kaya siya o hindi? Without even waiting if he will or not. We initiate it. We greet good morning, good afternoon, because that's what kind people do. Especially when we are under stress, especially when it's very toxic, ano? Kasi may, alam niyo yung period na submission na ng grades, pero submission din ng unit plans for the new quarter or semester that's about to start. And we are in that transition. Hindi pa nga natatapos yung previous quarter, nandito na naman ang requirements of the new quarter, and it feels like toxic, but it is during those moments when we especially are able to teach what it means to be kind, to be patient, to be courteous, to be in control, to have self-control. Do I treat my students impartially, all my students impartially? Do I challenge all of them to do their best work? And many of them will look back to the days they were inside your classroom and say, natuto ako nito because of that teacher during that year in grade 4, in grade 5. Okay, kanina I taught you the compliments game. Okay, class, last 2 minutes, let's play the compliments game. Here's another form of that anonymous compliments. You put a box, and then inside the box are the names of all the students. Tapos bubunot sila. By the week's end, the student writes an anonymous compliment dun sa nabunot nilang pangalan on a strip of paper. He or she will show it to the teacher to make sure that it is acceptable, that it is not negative, it is it is a compliment, and then puts it in the compliments box. And then on Friday, The teacher posts all the compliments on the bulletin board. Excited ang mga bata. Hanapin yung pangalan nila, and then the compliment written there by one of the classmates, he or she will never know who wrote it, but it's enough to boost the confidence of the person and to feel good and to make him realize na, wow, I didn't realize um, pansin pala nila yung aking pagiging tahimik. Pansin pala nila yung aking pagiging um, having good humor, or that I am like this or I am like that. A compliment, something good that others can say about you, about us. Okay, here's another strategy: peers, affirming peers. At the end of the day, you ask students, bago sila ma-dismiss, no? Okay, class, before I dismiss you, we still have 2 minutes. Who saw kindness today? Yan. You see, when a teacher asks that, iisip sila, oo nga, anong kindness nakita ko? Chances are, meron. Uh, Ma'am, I saw Joey helping Joanna. Very good, that's kindness. Ma'am, I saw um, Aliana helping um, Gina carry her bag going up the staircase. That's kindness. Or sometimes you will ask, okay, who saw respect today? Who saw determination today? Who saw sharing today? When you make students talk about kindness done by a classmate, respect shown by another classmate, they are affirming each other. Not to mention, you are making them realize the importance of good example, but at the same time, the importance of doing good and the importance of kindness towards others. At the start of the day, all students take out their good deeds journal. Yeah. So this is another strategy to make them keep a good deeds journal where they will write a good deed I did today, or yesterday rather. And then a good deed I will do today. It's possible they look back to yesterday, ay grabe, wala akong good deed. Hindi ako gumawa ng anything good. And they feel bad about it and they become conscious. Today, I have to do more. I have to do double. Or maybe sometimes what happens is they look back to yesterday and they realize, wow, ang dami ko palang magandang ginawa kahapon. Ang dami kong natulungan. Um, ang good deed ko lang kahapon is to control myself in teasing, na hindi ko tinukso yung classmate ko. I usually would call her names, but yesterday I controlled my tongue. That's a good deed. But I can do more than just that. By complimenting, by saying good things, by saying nice things, by helping in whatever way I can. In any subject, teachers can make a connection to the good deeds theme. Teaching courtesy. Please do not fail to teach your students to say thank you. Yung mga pag nagdi-distribute ka ng handout, class, please, whenever I distribute handout, be kind enough to say thank you. Okay? I mean, don't have that entitled disposition na ang feeling mo is you deserve it, you have to have it. No, I'm giving you a handout, express gratitude, or please, or sorry. Yan. These are very important words that express courtesy. Please, thank you, sorry, may I. Those are all part of courtesy. Not to mention, good morning, good afternoon. Um, when we meet an authority, for example, even if kagagaling mo lang ng classroom, tapos na-meet mo sila sa corridor, kahit na, it's still courteous to greet, to say good morning, to say good afternoon. The same way with cafeteria staff. teach the students to be courteous, to say please. Can I have palabok, please? I'd like to have Coke, please. Thank you. Those are all parts of, those are all signs of courtesy. Okay, well, empathy is in crisis, and this is a fantastic book I want to share with you, which contains hundreds of strategies on how you can help students develop empathy, because it's in crisis because of the digital lifestyle that the young people find themselves in today.